Hello everyone. Let us start and continue with string manipulation. Last time when we studied few functions of the string manipulation. I did describe all of those functions. Let's revise those functions once for a short while and then we will continue with string manipulation practices. All right, here are those functions. Remember, string manipulation functions are basically built around manipulating characters inside one string variable. The length of the variable might be anywhere from 1 to all the way to the 256. There are so many functions, and as we know that function returns a value, so we always need a variable to catch the value which is returned by the function. So the type of the variable which we are using to hold or receive the value from the function has to be of the same type as of the value which is being returned by the function. So we discussed the first function, length. Let's suppose that this x is equal to Zafar Ali Khan. The length of Zafar Ali Khan is 14 characters, including anything in between. In between. So the output will be 14. The type of the output will be integer. So A has to be integer. And then we discussed about extractions. There are three functions for extraction: left, right, and mid. They all three return substrings from the string function, and the type of the output will always be a string. The substring of a string will be a string, or subset of a string will always be a string. So left picks up as many characters in the second argument from the first argument, the variable which is given from the left side. So the left from the x will be Zafar, Z-A-F-A-R, and that will be assigned to B. Right function returns as many characters in the second argument of the function right, but it will present them the way they appear in the string. For example, from the right, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, but when it will be returned, it will be K-H-A-N, Khan, and it will be assigned to C. Mid function has got three arguments. The first one is, as always, the variable upon which we are acting, from which character we have to start, second argument, and how many characters we have to pick. So as it says that start from 7 and pick 3 characters, 7 included 7, 8, 9, and that will be these 3 characters, and this will be assigned to D. Then we discussed about searching. This might be locate, this might be something else, but the main purpose is searching. Searching for the second argument into the first variable. This might be a single character or the whole pattern of the characters. So it will search for this one character into this variable, and it will tell what is the number of character in the original string, that is 6. So at 6 we have got space. It might be a pattern. I can look for the whole A-L-I, Ali. The answer would be 7. Now sometimes we do not want to start from 1 every time, since if you don't mention this, searching for the pattern or the character in a string will always start from the 1. If you like it to start from, let's say, anywhere but 1, then you would have to include that in the first argument. So let's say E is 6, so I want to start from 7. So E plus 1, that would become 7, and 7 onwards, it will look for the space and it will find a space over here at 10. the return value is always integer. And then we have got ASCII and character. As we know that ASCII, if we give ASCII a character, it will give the ASCII value of that character, and the output will be integer. Similarly, character is vice versa. If you give ASCII code to this character function, it will give you the character or the glyph related to that particular ASCII code, and obviously the output will be character, so H has to be of character. Then we have concatenation. Concatenation means merging of two strings together to be assigned to another third string. So sometimes we have got this sign, ampersand or end sign to merge. So this will merge B, which is Zafar here, and C, which is Khan over here, and it will merge Zafar with space and then merge it with Khan and assign it to I. So the output will be Zafar Khan. Remember, if you won't put this space over here, Zafar and Khan would not have a space in between. In pseudocodes, the use of plus sign is always obvious, and you can make use of this plus sign for the concatenation as well. So this ampersand in string concatenation, or this plus in this string concatenation, is said to be the concatenation sign itself. Then comes casting. Casting means turning a number data type into a string or vice versa. So let's say if I have got let's say 34 as integer, and I apply string function to this integer, the output will be 34 in string. Similarly, if I have a value which is a string, if I give that to value function, it will extract the integer from the start of that string and will assign it to k. Now that's depend what is the type of k. If k is real, the output from this function will be real. If k is integer, then output from this function will be integer. If k is currency, then output from this function will be currency. And then comes upper or U case and L case. So whatever that you give in argument will be turned into uppercase and will be assigned to M. So the output of ASDF will be ASDF in capital. And to lowercase function, whatever the value that you give, if it is in uppercase, it will be turned into lowercase. One thing which students ask most is what will happen if we already give input as lowercase to lowercase function and uppercase input to uppercase function. So lowercase will only hit those characters which are in lowercase, and rest of the characters will remain the way they are, and same is for uppercase function. Now let's try all these functions in Visual Basic. So we have one variable x that we have initialized to Zafar Ali Khan, then we have got one variable y as a string and n as integer. We have applied length function to x and assign it to n, and then we have outputted over the screen, and to show how it works, we have used concatenation in output. So length of x, where x is equal to Zafar Ali Khan here, is 14. Left of x comma 5 is equal to Zafar. Right of x comma 4 is equal to Khan. This is the code running. This is not me who is doing it. It is the code that is being executed. Mid of x 7 comma 3 is Ali. Now this in string is basically in string in Visual Basic is basically locate. It is basically locate. All right, there's a question, sir. Can we declare an initialized variable in a single line in pseudocode too? No, we cannot. We can declare same type of variables in one line, but we cannot initialize it. Okay, and try your best to initialize different types separately. That would be the best way. All right, so in string is locate. So this is looking for kh. So kh is found at 11. So this is in a string, which is an equivalent of locate function. Then we have y is equal to beacon house space merged with school space merged with system dot space equal to space. The output will be beacon house school system. Okay. Now there is one interesting thing that you have to observe over here. When you like your equal quotation to be the part of this string, as we all know that a string is always put in quotation. A string is always put in quotation, and if you like your quotation to be shown as a string inside the string itself, then you would have to put quotation twice. As this appears like quotation beacon house space quotation, so you would have to actually put double quotation twice. So if you like your quotation to be appear in your string as quotation, so inside the string you would have to put double quotation twice. If we put it twice over here, we would have it once in the string. Try it yourself and make sure that you know about it. Then we have ASCII function. We have given Q to ASCII function. The answer is 81 because the ASCII code for Q is 81. And then we have character function. Whatever the ASCII code that you give as input to this character function will give you the glyph or the character related to that as output. And then a string. So this is 56.54 as real, and the output is basically a string. Then in the value function, to the value function we give 1, 2, 3 as a string, and the output is integer itself. All right, so this is how Visual Basic takes up these functions. Now, let me introduce you, if you already know, again, if you don't, for the very first time, with my GitHub account. zakonweb.com, github.com/zakonweb. Or repositories में you would see string manipulation AS. All the codes that we are going to discuss now are saved in this repository. Remember, github.com/zakonweb. And we are going to solve 10 questions which are string manipulation practices. Okay. Either these questions are from past papers or they are like past papers. I have collected them in a way so that when you finish doing all these 10 practices, you would have covered the whole string manipulation yourself. Okay, so let us start with each of them one by one. String manipulation programs and practices. First practice is finding first word of one string and last word of another string, putting these two together as one string and outputting it. So let's first see how to visualize this thing. Finding first word of one string and last word of another string. Alright, this is string practice 1, which says finding first word of one string and last word of another string. Remember one thing, these two forward slashes are used in pseudocode for comments, remarks. So they are not considered by the computer as any statement that needs to be interpreted or compiled or translated and executed. Okay. So finding first word of one string and let's make it second word of another string. First of all, you need to understand that every code that is written should have declaration, initialization, input, process, and output. 5 elements. In worst case, you might lose marks for processing, but you will always gain marks for declaration, initialization, input, and output. Okay. All right. As I said that we can declare same type of variables together. So declare string 1, string 2, first name, last name as a string. This colon is as. And then declare space, length, and integer. Oh, sorry, declare space, length as integer. Now what we are going to do, first we need to visualize this. What we are going to do. Visualization. Let's say string 1 that we have taken input from the keyboard is basically Atif Aslam. Second string that we have again taken input from the keyboard is, let's say, Ricky Martin. I need to pick up this first word from first string and this second word from this second string. Remember one thing, that these two values which I have assigned to string 1 and string 2 are just my own idea of input. Remember, the code that we write is always a generalized code, means whatever that you input will be taken as input. All right, so it might be a different name or of different length in first and last name. It might be anything. So we are not going to program for the examples which are given in exam questions. Those examples are just to make you understand and for you to visualize how the code will be executed. What would be the output? Okay. Okay. So we have to be uh, very much vigilant about it. So the code should be generalized so that when we take input might take any shape. We have to be very much what do we say, flexible, so that whatever the data that is entered, our code works with it. So anyways, first what you have to do is to look for the space. Okay, as this first name might be of any number of characters. It might be Ali, Ali. It might be something else. It might be Atif. It might be Ricky. So what we are going to do, we are going to look for this space first, and then we use left function to pick up all the characters before this space. So see what we have done. We have taken input in string 1 and we have taken input in string 2. Then we have located for the space in string 1, and in this case we would have a space at 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5th character. So we would have a space at 5th location in this string. अच्छा, इसके बाद what we have to do, we have to pick all the characters from the left of string 1 to the point which is space minus 1. All right. So what is the space? The value of a space is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. And we will pick all 4 characters from the left of this string. So locate for space. Space would be 5. Then we will pick all the characters from the left, which are 4. 5 minus 1. And that will be assigned to first name. Then we have to pick up this last name. Similarly, as first name might be of 3 characters or 4 characters, this last name will be of several characters, or maybe 1 or 2 characters, maybe just a single character, which people usually abbreviate. So what do we have to do? Again, we have to look for the space. And in this case, space is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6th. Space is at 6th location. And what I will do then, I'll find the length of this whole string, which is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The length of this string is 12. If I subtract this 6th space position from the length of this string, which is 12, so 12 minus 6 is 6. And then we are going to pick 6 characters from the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me revise. First we will find the space, and then we will find the length of the string, and then we will subtract the space position from the length of the string. Whatever is left is the number of characters on the right side of the space, and we are going to pick as many characters with the right function. So the length of the string is in length variable, and then we locate it for the space, and that space is the position of that space will be in space variable. So we are going to pick up from the right side of string 2 how many characters? Length minus space. So length was 12, space was 6, so 12 minus 6, 6 characters. So left characters from the first string, first name, and the characters from the right of the second string from the string 2 are picked up in their respective variable, first name and last name. And then we will merge those. Full name is first name, full new name is equal to first name, this is wrong, and last name. Yes, then you wanted to say something, Zen? All right. So I have converted that code into Visual Basic Code, and let's see if the code works. Declaration, we have declared all 4 variables, and then string variables, and then we declare two integer variables. We initialize them all. Remember, your paper will only be asking if you are appearing 9618 for the pseudocode, not this one. This I am implementing just for you to have an idea that whatever the logic that we discussed of is correct or incorrect. So let's run this code. So enter name 1, Atif Aslam. Enter name 2, Ricky Martin. We entered, and now you see string 1 is Atif Aslam, string 2 is Ricky Martin. Now we have to find the space in first name, which is Atif Aslam, string 1, by the way, string 1. So system will return space at 5th location. So space is at 5th location. Now first name would be from the left of the string 1. How many spaces? 4 spaces. 5 minus 1. Sir, is it possible to find last name by using right and space plus 1 function? No, because right counts from the right side. Right counts from the right side, not the left side. So this first name is now Atif. You can see it is picked up. It is picked up, leaving space. Now we go further and we find a space in second name, which is second string, which is Ricky Martin. Now we have to pick the space from it. So the space position is 6. 6 over here. All right. Then we find the length. Length is 12. So 12 minus 6 is 6. And we are going to pick 6 characters from the right of string 2. That is basically Martin. Now we are going to merge first name, which is Atif, and last name, which is Martin, together with the space, and we will output it on the screen. Now you can see the output is as we expected. First name is Atif's, last name is Martin. So we picked first word from the first name and the last word from the second name, and we put them together and we output it. Now, second task, finding and truncating a character from the string. Finding and truncating a character from a string. Now, let's first visualize what does it mean. You see, whenever you asked for anything to be done in exam, you will always be given an example for it, to visualize, to understand. And I am telling you once again that do not copy for just that example. Do not copy for just that example. Okay, but make your code always generalized. Now, finding and truncating a character from the string. Let's say we input something in string 1, and let's say string 1 that was input is A, and then we input character 1. Means what is character 1? This is the character that we need to remove from first string. So when we output, we will output another string in which we have collected all the characters from the first string but this character, and now you can see that all the A's are gone. So this was ZAFARALIKHAN, and since I have given lowercase, and you need to remember that lowercase is different from uppercase, as the ASCII code of lower A is 97 and upper A is 65. So system would look for all the small a's and remove them, and the final output would be the output without these characters. So this is the visualization. Now let's see how we will achieve it. As usual, we would have two strings, one to take input, one to collect output into, and then finally output it. And then we have to have one character in which we will actually see if the character in this, if the characters in the string match this one character. Okay, and then we have to have another character which we will use to pick up a character in turns from the string. So it is simple idea. Idea says that go or run the length of the string, pick one character at a time, match it with the character that was input. If the two match, skip. If the two don't match, put the character that you have picked from the string into another string. So we are picking one character through the length of the, through the run of the string, one character at a time, and matching that character with this entered character. If the two match, we skip. If the two don't match, we will put that character into another string, and we will be running a loop. So once the length of the string is, string 1 is done, our output is ready to be shown. So let's see how. So we have got two strings, string 1 and string 2. And then we need two characters, one to take input into and one to take input from the input string and to compare it. And then we need one more variable to as a counter so that we could run the count loop in with it. So declaration, initialization, and then we have to take input. Input is string to process, and enter character to truncate from the string. Enter character to truncate from the string. So we have now the string as well as the character. Now you need to understand one thing, that every input that you will take from your code should have a prompt with it. And in pseudocode, it is allowed to have the prompt embedded inside the input string, input statement. So you might have a separate output thing that says output this to the screen, and then take separate input. This is one of the way for having a prompt and then an input, or you can embed these two statements into one, which is allowed input, enter character to truncate from the string, and comma the variable in which we would like to take input into. Now the process says run a loop for as many times as the number of characters in the string 1. This is run length, and we will take one character at a time. So 1 to the length of, then we pick up one character from the ith location from the string 1 in every loop. So let's say this is the string 1. The length of string 1 is 14. When I is 1, we will pick from string 1, which is Zafar Ali Khan, from the ith location, which is 1, one character, which is Z. So Z will be assigned to character 2. And then we are using this not equal to symbol. This is not equal to symbol in pseudocode as well as in Visual Basic. In few of the languages like Python, it is exclamation mark and then equal to. All right. So whatever, this is not equal to symbol, and CIE expects you to have this symbol in Excel. Now, for I is equal to 1 to length of string 1, we have picked up one character from the ith location, one character from the ith location from string 1. So mid is the most used extraction function in string manipulations. So it helps you to pick up one character at a time and evaluate it. Whatever the pseudocode that you are going to write, chances are that you are using this mid function to pick up characters or patterns from the string. We do use left and right, but the most uses of this mid function. Now, we have picked up one character and we match that character with the character that user has entered to truncate. If the two don't match, this is the character that needs to be concatenated with string 2. String 2 will initially be null. We take a character, if it does not match the character which needs to be removed, this character will be merged with string 2 and assigned back to string 2. So string 2 will start building up without the characters which needed to be removed. And ultimately, when this loop will end, we would have all those characters which do not match the character that we have entered in string 2. They all are collected and then we will output it. Now, let's run this code and see if it works. Okay. Let's first run it once and see if it is working fine. Zafar Ali Khan, and I need to remove small a, and you can see that all small a's are gone. So this is working perfect. If I am not wrong, when this question appeared, it was something like that a string is entered with stars in between it. And then we have to remove that stars from the string and clean it up from the stars. So you can see all the stars are gone. So let's see how it works. Now, this is the prompt. So it shows the prompt. This is input for the prompt. I have entered input A, B, C, D, E. The input is taken. Now input is part of this string 1. Then the second, no, it went wrong. Hold on. Input A, B, C, D, E. And I have put so many dashes in it. All right, so I want to remove this dash. Okay, I have entered dash. Now this loop will run through the length of string 1, which is a dash 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 b dash cd dash 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 e, and it will pick up one character at a time. So character 2 is from the middle of string 1 at the ith location, one character. So this is a. This is a character. You see a. The C says that it's a character, but whatever inside the quotation is actually the character. A is picked, so it is not matching dash. So it will be, you see, string 2 is basically null at the moment. When we put A in it, it will become A. Then we pick the second character. Second character happens to be the dash. Since to match, it will be skipped. The third character, it is a dash 2, so it will be skipped. And then the next character is B. I mean, this is the fourth character since I is 4. Since the two don't match, it will be concatenated in string 2. Now you see, string 2 is AB. And this way, this loop will run through the length of string 1, and whenever it does not match, it will be added to string 2. It will be added at the tail of the string 2. And once the length is done, it will get out. All right. All 11 characters are read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. And string 2 is built, which is A, B, C, D, E, a string without dashes in between. And there we go. Process string is, you can see after truncation, it is A, B, C, D, E. So it is working fine. Now, third one, finding and replacing a character from a string. So earlier what was happening in part 2, the found character, the required character was being deleted. Now the required character will be substituted with another character, finding and replacing a character from a string. So we will find one character and we will replace it with another character. Okay, let's see how it works. Finding and replacing a character from a string. So we input first a string, then we input, this is visualization, a character that we need to remove and or replace, and then we input the character with which we like to replace. So I want to replace all small a's with x. So a here, here, and here will be replaced with x, x, and x. All right, so this is the visualization. So this is the original string. I want to replace all small a's in this string with x's. Now, pseudocode declarations. We have to have one string which is the original string. Then we will have another string which is the string that is the output of the whole process. Then we have to have the first character that we need to replace, and the second character that we need to replace with, and the third character will be the character that in every turn we will pick to match. So this would be very simple algorithm. String 1 will be the one that we are going to output. String 2 will be, sorry, we are going to take input in. String 2 will be the string that we will build during the processing. Character 1 will be the character in which, yes, Vitas, you have raised the hand, Saad. Character 1 will be the character that we need to replace, and character 2 will be the character that we need to replace with. Okay, or character 3 will be the character that we need to replace with, and character 2 we will be using to pick. Now, we need to initialize all the variables. Strings will be initialized to null with double quotation. Characters will be initialized to null with single quotations. And I will be initialized to 0. Okay. Then we will take input, the first string, and then character to find from the string, and enter character to replace with in the string. Okay. Now the process starts. Process is same. The loop. The purpose of the loop is same as it was in the previous one. We will pick one character from the string. We will match that character with the character that needs to be replaced. सर क्वेश्चन ऐसा भी आ सकता है कि फर्स्ट कैरेक्टर ऑफ एवरी वर्ड रिप्लेस कर दें. यस, देन यू वुड हैव टू लुक फॉर spaces, and then after the space whatever the first character that you find you can replace it with. Why don't you make it assignment for you and solve it and show it to me later. In string manipulation, anything can come, anything. This is not just limited to one thing. These are few examples, and it is very versatile topic. This is the only topic in whole P2 which is basically open topic. You can use any logic, whatever that comes to you, you can use that logic. Rest of the topics are a bit limited, but this topic is basically open-ended topic. Anyways, now for I is equal to 1 to length, we picked up one character, we matched that character here with the character that needs to be replaced. If the two are matching, it means that this character needs to be replaced with the character that we have entered. For example, this is character 1 that we have picked up. If it matches, this is the character 2 that we have picked up. If it matches with character 1, then we will send this x to string 2. Otherwise, we will send this character 2 to string 2. All right. So if 2 don't match, we will, whatever the character that we have picked up, we will substitute that. We will actually add that. We will basically merge that to string 2. And otherwise, if it is matching, then the character that needs to be replaced with the character, हम यहाँ पर वो वाला character डाल देंगे. So character 2 is the character that we are picking up. Character 1 is the character that we are looking for. Character 3 is the character that we are going to replace with. All right, and this loop will go on. Let's see. Afterwards, the output of string 2 will be shown. Let's see if it works. Now people are asking, where are these codes found? These codes are found in my GitHub repositories, and over there all pseudocodes and everything is there. You can find all these codes in my GitHub repository. Okay, let's execute this. Enter the character to find from the string, let's say small a, and I want to replace it with X. So you see all the A's, small a's are replaced with X. Let's see how the code is working. Prompt input. So let's say Mississippi. All right. I want to replace with all S with X. Second prompt, enter character to find. Let's say I say S, and to replace with, let's say X. Now this loop will work throughout the length of Mississippi. Pick one character at a time, which is M. Okay, and we will match this with S. If the two match, no, they don't. So it means this M will become the part of string 2. Then we have second character I. I does not match, so I will become part of string 2. Then we pick up third character, which is S. The two match, so now X will become part of string 2. So then another S. X will become part of string 2. You can observe over here. Then we have got I, so it does not match. I will go to string 2. Then again, as the two match, then X will go to string 2. Then I, then P, then P. So they are not matching. So original character which is being picked is going to another string. I, last loop, that's it. Now we have got Mississippi, but this time all S are replaced with X. You see? This is replaced Mississippi. Let's see what next assignment says. Fourth assignment, counting number of alphabets and digits in a string. Now, you see what? One thing which is basically very important at the moment is when you pick a character from the string, how would you know which character it is? There are few techniques. You can compare it with another character directly, or you can find the ASCII code of that character and then you can compare that ASCII code with another ASCII code. But you need to understand one thing, that system, the computer, basically looks at these strings and characters not as string and characters, rather as their ASCII codes. So let's say if I am comparing this A with this A, the system is not actually looking at these like characters, rather system is looking at these like this. All right, so this A ASCII code is 97 and this A's ASCII code is 65. So the answer would be false. Since 97 is not less than 65, answer will be false. So if I am comparing Ali with Ali, in this case, first thing that you need to understand is that the whole string is never compared. To computer, this string is a collection of characters. So computer will always compare one character with the other corresponding position character in another string. Okay, so if it is capital A, this is small a, again this is false, since computer is actually just comparing the ASCII code of this capital A 65 with the ASCII code of this small a 97. So this is false. Now let's say if we have got a name Ahmed, Ahmed, and then there is another name Ahmad, Ahmad, they apparently look the same. So computer will, as I said, that computer will take one character at a time and compare it with the character in corresponding string at the same location. It will find that both are the same. So computer will move on. Now computer will look into the second character, they look the same. So it will move on to third character, they look the same. And then it will move on to the fourth character, which is E. So if small a is 97, then B, C, D, E, 98, 99, 100 and 101. So system is now comparing 101 is greater than 97. Yes, that's true. I hope that you got the idea. So when a system compares a character with or a string with another string, in that case, do not think that it is comparing characters or strings. It is still comparing numbers. In this case, numbers will be the ASCII codes. All right. Now, what we are going to do, counting the number of alphabets and digits in a string. Now what will happen that we will pick one character and we will find where this character belongs to, since it has asked for alphabets and digits only. And I hope that you have an idea that there are two types of alphabets, capital A to Z means 65 to 90. These are the ASCII codes. Small a to Z means 97 to 122, 123. This is alphabets. So there are two series of alphabets. All right, there are two series of alphabets. And then 0 to 9. This is basically 48 to 56. 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. 0 to 9. So 0 to 9 as character are starting from 48 to 57. at 9. Small a, b, c, d is starting from 97 to 123, and capital A, B, C, D is starting from 65 to 90. So every character which falls between A and Z capital or A and Z small will be counted as an alphabet, and every character which is between 0 and 9 will be counted in digits. Rest of the characters like spaces and special character, dashes or at sign, star sign, and end sign, they all will be ignored because they have asked for either the alphabets and digits. Now let's see how the whole thing is achieved. Okay, counting number of alphabets and digits in a string. So we take input of a string. This is the string. Now we have to count. Count is always +1. Now we have to count. This is alphabet, we will count it in alphabets. This is digit, we will count it in digits. These 3 or 4 are not alphabets or digits, we ignore them. Then we take 6, then we 6A, FA, and we will do like this. So every time there is an alphabet, either capital or small, it will be counted, and any character which is basically a digit will be counted. The rest of the digits will be ignored. So output, we will output the count of alphabets and digits separately. So let's say how we would do that. Again, we have to run through the length of the string that we have entered. We will pick up one character every time, and then we will actually counting that where this one character lies, either in the alphabets area or in the digits area. All right. Now let's start. We need one string where we will take input with, and then we have got a character. This is the character that we will be picking up from the string throughout the length. This is I for the loop. This is digit counter. If the character that is picked is found between 0 and 9 inclusive, then it will be a digit counter. Otherwise, we will see that if it is in between alphabets, we will count that in alphabet counter. Otherwise, we will ignore it. So then we initialize all. So whatever the integer that we have, we will initialize them at 0, like over here. Character will be initialized at null with single quote, and a string will be initialized with double quotation null. Then we will take input, and then we start the process, and we pick up one character at a time. Now there is one more thing, which is basically a good thing to understand. That thing is, let's say we have picked up D. D is small. It lies between 97 and 123. If D is capital, it lies between 90 and 65 and 90. It's up to you. Either you like this D to be checked within 2 ranges, or you make a small d capital first and then check it within 1 range. It's up to you. So you have got, let's say we have got a character that is D or small d. ठीक है, we